Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and we're checking out the Kingston MobileLite Wireless Pro today. This is a multi-function device for your mobile phone. There's also a version of this called the MobileLite Wireless G3, and I'll describe what that is in a second. So what this thing does is it charges your phone. It's got a 5400 milliamp hour battery on board, which is good for probably about 2 or 3 charges on your iPhone, probably similar on your Android phone, depending on how much battery capacity it has. It also has the ability to store files. Now, the Pro Edition has 64 gigabytes of storage on board, as well as the ability to use USB memory sticks and SD cards, and you can actually move files internally in the device from one thing to the other, or of course go back and forth to your phones. Now, if you want to charge your phone, you're going to give up the USB functionality, but you'll still have the SD card, because you do have to plug your USB charger into the jack over here. It will charge at 2 amps. And it's got some hotspot capability, so you can connect it to your Wi-Fi and extend a wireless network. There's also an Ethernet port on here too, so if you have wired Ethernet, you can make this into a wireless adapter to that. So it does a lot of stuff, and we're going to step through all that in a minute. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, Kingston provided this to the channel free of charge. They do not want it back. However, I'm going to be giving it away on a future live stream that we're going to be doing, so definitely sign up to my email list at Lon.TV/email to get notified as to when we're doing that. Nobody is paying for this review. Kingston is not reviewing this content before it is posted, and all the opinions you're about to hear are my own. Now, before we step through some of the features on this thing, I want to point out the manual, or lack thereof. They don't really give you much to work with here. So you get some instructions as to how to turn it on, which app to get, connect to its Wi-Fi, load up the app, and then that is it. They don't actually tell you in the documentation how to use this thing, and the app doesn't tell you all that much either. So what this video will serve as is both a review and a how-to. So in case you bought it and are kind of confused as to how to use it, hopefully this will clear some things up for you, because they're not going to tell you in the manual that it comes with. Now, the first thing you're going to do is turn it on, and there's actually 2 modes of it being on. So the first power button push, I will put it into its charging mode, so I can take out the little USB plug here for my phone, pop that into the side, and my phone should begin charging. Now, what will happen is it'll start charging, it'll stop charging, and then start up again, and now it'll be good for the duration. So the phone is now charging, but all of the hotspot and file transfer stuff is currently off until I hit the power button again. Now, you can only charge your phone through this port. This port here on the front is for sending power into the device to charge it, but this port is the only one you can use to charge your phone. It's also the only port you can use for memory sticks as well. So if you have, again, a phone plugged in, you can't use the memory stick, but again, you've got that SD card on there. It outputs at 2 amps, so you do get a good power output from here. It's not going to be like a Qualcomm quick charge or something, but 2 amps is pretty good for a portable battery. It'll charge an iPad or other tablet, as well as just about every mobile phone out there. Now, if you want to start using its other features, you got to push the power button in again and wait for the blue light to load up here, and then once that happens, it starts booting up its internal electronics for all the other stuff. So what we have to do is wait for the Wi-Fi light to come on. It takes about 30 to 45 seconds for this thing to get fully operational. So we're going to let this thing boot up, and when it's done, we'll come back and show you how to get it working. All right, so we've got our MobileLite booted up finally, and when you get yours and first get it going, you're not going to have a light on with the globe icon here on the end. So that one comes on after you connect it up with your local network. I'll show you how to do that when we boot the app up. So you'll have the Wi-Fi light and the battery light. Now, before you connect to its Wi-Fi, you need to grab its app. And there are actually 2 apps in the App Store on both iOS and on Android called Kingston MobileLite Wireless. And you don't want the blue one, you want the red one. The red one works with this hardware. The blue one is for an older version of the hardware. So get that app, connect up to the Wi-Fi of this device. It's going to be called MLW. And once you do get that connected, you can load up the red app, and it should give you a screen that looks similar to this. So you should see that little icon at the top here indicating that it's all connected and you are good to go. Now, the first thing you want to do is go into the settings area here and go over to MLW setup and go to wireless setup. And you can set up the name of your wireless access point on the device. Now, there are 2 radios on here. You have a 2.4 gigahertz and a 5 gigahertz. However, this is not wireless AC, so it's a slower version of Wi-Fi called wireless N. It really isn't all that quick for file transfers, unfortunately, but you do have a 5 gigahertz option, especially if you're in a area with a lot of Wi-Fi access points. The 5 gigahertz option, if your client devices support it, might be worth looking at. I also recommend enabling security and turning on passwords so you can protect protect your network, because you don't want people getting into your MobileLite here who don't belong there. The other thing you want to do is go over to the wireless network setup, and what it's going to do is look at your local network and allow you to connect to your existing Wi-Fi network. And the reason why you want to do that is so that when the phone is connected to the device, you can also get the internet on your phone. So what it'll do is it'll connect to your internet in your home and then pass the internet through the device over to your phone, so you can still use your Wi-Fi while you're connected to this and transferring files. If you have an Ethernet port on your router, you can plug it into your router, and then you can have it go through the Ethernet here, and then it will then take that Ethernet signal and convert it into wireless for your house. So you've got some options to use this kind of as a local hotspot also, if you want a quick and dirty way to get something useful up and running on there. All right, so we got the networking all set up. I did have to plug it in because I killed the battery charging my phone earlier, so we are charging it right now, but you can leave it on while it's charging. I did unplug my phone though, so I could plug in a USB memory stick so you can see exactly how it works when you have everything connected to it. So let's take out my iPhone. This will again look the same on Android as it does on the iPhone, same interface for the most part here. And on the home screen, you've got this file option as well as the backup and restore option. We're going to start with the file option though, and you can see we have available to us the USB stick that we plugged in, the SD card that's also plugged in, as well as the Pro's internal storage. The G3 will not have that internal storage option. Offline is a way to copy files off of one of these devices over to your phone and have it available to you inside this app, so you can have video files, other things that you want to copy over, kind of stored on the phone's memory in that offline directory. Then you can take those files and move them out and do whatever you want with it. Camera roll is self-explanatory, so we'll go in here real quick. I've got a test directory set up here at the bottom with a few photos. So maybe what I'll do is grab a video here that I recorded earlier and just transfer that over. Now the problem with videos is that you can't transfer them just by tapping on something in here. So for example, on this photo, what's a video also? On this photo here, I can grab this little icon down here and copy it over to my USB stick, for example. However, on the video, I have to do something different. This is like a little weird interface quirk that they have here. So unfortunately, it doesn't always get the X when you click it. On the video here, I have to, I can play it, of course, but if I want to transfer it, I have to click on this little check mark thing, tap on the check mark, do the copy down here at the bottom, select the device I want to send it over to, and then hit OK. So it's almost two different things from your camera roll, whether you're doing a video or a photo. So just keep that in mind. You also see the transfer speed isn't all that fast. It's a very short video. It takes a while for it to get over to the device on there. But we'll go over to the USB stick here. Maybe we'll try to play back that video we just transferred and see how it does. I did find that some of my 4K videos that I have on here don't work that well. This is a 1080p video. This one works better. So really, I think the 1080p at 30 frames per second is probably the best you'll be able to do streaming off the device. You can use this to stream media to your phone over the Kingston app, but again, the higher end video is not going to do as well as the lower end stuff will. But I think if you've got like a DVD or a 1080p video file of some kind, it should work just fine. While we're browsing the USB here, I can click on this little icon, and sometimes it doesn't always get the right touch target on that one either. I can click on the icon here. Maybe I can get it right in the third try here. This is painful to watch, unfortunately. I could then copy or move it, so I could perhaps move this over to the internal storage on the thing here. So I can go to MLW Pro here and just drop it onto the root directory there. And if I go back, you'll see that image will disappear. Go back to the home directory, click on the MLW Pro, and we'll see that we've got now the picture of the car there. So that's how you can move files around. We could take this one and then maybe move it from the internal storage over to the SD card perhaps. So we'll just do that and we'll wait a second for that to transact. We'll close out the image here and then pop over to our SD card, and we should see it over there. So you do have the ability to kind of do some file transfers. Now you can have multiple devices connected to this at the same time. So I've got my Android phone connected right now. I can go in here and actually go back and look at that image that we copied over from my iPhone earlier. And you can also stream things to multiple devices simultaneously. So again, that 4K video isn't going to cut it, but we are able to stream two things simultaneously from the device to my Android and my iPhone here at the same time. This is a 1080p video file that I downloaded off my YouTube channel. So basically smaller video files, things again that are not 4K or 60 frames per second should work pretty well. And I think you're probably going to get 2 or 3 simultaneous video streams going from this device to client devices. You will, of course, impact battery life on the Kingston device when you are doing things like streaming and other things. But the battery in here is pretty big, so I think if you're not charging a phone at the same time, I would say several hours, probably in the 5 to 6-hour territory for streaming, if not a little bit more, just using this only as a streaming device. Charging your phone, of course, will drain that battery quicker. All right, just a couple more things to look at before we wrap things up. You do have some icons at the bottom here that will consolidate all the content on the device. So if you want to get quick access to all of your videos, no matter where they are stored on your MobileLite, you can get at them just by clicking on the music or the video option here to get at those files. Again, those will play through the app unless you download them and put them into an app specifically on your device. You also have a backup option here. So in addition to doing a camera roll backup, you can have it automatically back up the camera roll to it if you want. Every time it's connected via Wi-Fi, you can also do it manually. You can also do your contacts and calendar too. So if you want to have a quick way to just dump your contacts or calendar off into here, you can do that as well. So that is the Kingston MobileLite Wireless Pro. This version with the internal storage, the Pro version, is $99. The G3 version without the internal storage is $59 or thereabouts. So not a bad price for what you get, especially because it's a good backup battery if nothing else. You get about 2 charges out of it, but you also have some of the Swiss Army knife kind of features where you can use it as a mobile hotspot. You can use it to store things and get them off your phone if you're trying to free up some storage while you're out in the field. So it does have all of those features available to you, and you can even use it if you wanted to copy files from your camera card over to a USB stick or something. You do have to have the wireless app be the intermediary, but you can move files off of different devices if you want to do that too. So it does have a lot of features to it that you won't get just by buying an extra battery for your phone. But the wireless transfer speeds are very slow on here, and as a result, larger video files are not going to play all that well. So you saw with that heavily compressed 1080p file that we downloaded from my YouTube channel, we could get that going to 2 devices simultaneously. I think that's going to be about the max you'll see. So if you have a lot of ripped DVDs or something that you used Handbrake to get the videos off of your DVD discs, I think you should be fine with 2 or 3 people transferring at the same time. But higher end stuff you won't be able to stream as well or at all, depending on what it is. So cross 1080p, 60 and 4K off your list unless you transfer those things over to your device first before playing them. But again, smaller video files should stream fine, but every video compression technique is different, so it's hard to say definitively what format and resolution will work. All I know is that 1080p 30, pretty compressed, seem to work fine with 2 devices, but I think that's probably going to be the max you'll see on here, so just bear that in mind. Another thing to keep in mind too is that it's hard to get files onto this from your computer. In fact, it's impossible because plugging this in will just charge it. There's no card reader functionality to it, so if you want to get things off a PC, you either need to put them onto your mobile phone first and copy them over that way, or copy them onto one of the external storage options here, either the card or the stick, and then connect your mobile device to move those files onto its internal storage. So you do have to jump through a couple of hoops there. So not a bad little product here, pretty good deal, and it's certainly pretty useful if you are aware of its limitations. This is Lon.TV, thanks for watching. This channel is brought to you by my Patreon supporters, including gold level supporter Shabib. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to Lon.TV/Patreon to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit Lon.TV/S.